Hey, welcome to my third repaint. So it was inspired by the unicorn horn that I made whilst just messing around with polymer clay. And this was cut down from 2 hours and 11 minutes of video, so it might be a bit long, but it's much shorter. So obviously I started out by removing the hair, the face, and then planned for the new unicorn features. So, just acetone the face off like a psychopath, and then the utterly satisfying tugging and sloop noises of plucking the hairs out or in and then having to grab them out because I wanted to try a full reroute, which didn't go that badly, didn't go as planned, however. So, a learning experience. When she was nice and naked, I planned out where the hairstyle and the new animal features are going to be. So, the curve at the front of the face to show where the bangs, where the parting for the bangs is going to be in the change. On the forehead where the horn's going to be, and the two little horse-like ears. Ooh, one tip about the ears and horn that I made. So it was somewhat hard to glue them on. It was reasonably fine with the forehead because I wasn't moving it around that much, and it's a reasonably flat surface. However, the ears, I actually, whilst I was doing the face painting, I actually accidentally unglued one of the horns just by, holding it inappropriately. So I'd recommend when you make the polymer clay features that you put a piece of wire or some sort of hard metal rod of a suitable size, so you can poke that through the head and kind of secure it on the inside. I took several long years on this girl's face, which, by the way, calling Serenity, because my brain came up with that when I was thinking unicorn and girl. And I put this down to two reasons. First of all, I'm just not that good at this. This is my third time. I'll get better, hopefully. And second of all, I just didn't really expect that the original doll would have such a strong face mold. So originally in my light planning, I was planning a kind of more flat eye, kind of more of a downwards look. However, because the mold is quite bulbous in, the eye area, I couldn't achieve what I wanted to. So I think I'll need to plan more what my face will look like on what the current mold will do to that. So if mistake number one was the poor planning, mistake number two was even worse. So I have this nice iridescent pearlescent, yeah, that's the word, watercolour paints, and I thought, oh yeah, unicorn, sparkles, iridescent, bit of magic. So I used that on the eye. However, I used that on the second layer. So because it was kind of a flaky paint, I couldn't really layer up over it apart from with the iridescent paint. So I had a bit of problem later on when I was trying to add the eye gleam. So I think next time I'll do a base colour of the blues and the shades I want, and then just one layer of the flaky, and then go in with white acrylic for the eye gleam. Layer 3 is really where you can see her coming together. So in between layer 2 and 3, I was just looking at the doll and being like, no, this isn't going how I want. So I kind of worked and changed the eye shape by applying a thick cat eye and removed the eyebrows because I felt they weren't really eyebrow shaped. So the third layer and the two subsequent layers that I'm kind of skipping through were just getting colour down on the eyebrows and adding, perfecting the eye gleam, for which they did not end up perfected. So yes, acrylic. However, my acrylic paint was at my university flat, so not at home. So, other than the unicorn ears and horn, I attempted to further modify the doll's original body by swapping out her hands. This is because I thought it would be easier to swap the hands with a Ghoulia doll than to cut and buff and sandpaper off the original doll's fins. And I think next time I'll probably use acrylics once again, watered down, but I tried to do it with the pastels. And I started off with some normal pastels, then I went to a softer pastel, so that worked a bit better. But then it wasn't really sticking, and I think that's because I didn't sandpaper and buff the original body. So the body's kind of got a shiny finish, and I should have buffed that off for it to stick properly. So instead I used water, so I watered the arm, and then I did pastel over that, which ended up kind of streaky, but also interesting. So I definitely recommend that you just get like a nail buffer and go to town on that. So after the face was done, I released her from the head burrito and inspected to see whether the colours matched, because the hair was under wraps, literally, for all of the time that I was doing the face, and it matched surprisingly well, for how unhappy I've been so far. So I went into one straight oil wash, and then I found I needed to reroute more along the parts, struggled with that. Then after doing that for an hour, I did a second boil wash with her hair in multiple small plaits to create a natural loose wave look. It ended up surprisingly puffy. If that's what you're looking for, that's the method to do it. Then we're on to the outfit. So unfortunately I can only show you the making of the unicorn hoof boots, as unfortunately, or fortunately depending on how you see it, I had already made a unicorn themed outfit because I found some small scrap fabric of a unicorn pattern and whacked that together. So I made a blouse pattern with a heart shape on the chest using the kind of duct tape method, and the skirt is just 2 rectangles and some elastic. So I learnt from the froggy boots and tightly wrapped the tin foil for my underboot and then papier-mâchéd. What made it the wonderful hoof that it became was some leftover packaging from some jerk chicken that we ate. However, I'd say that if you're making it yourself, you'd probably want to use craft foam because it's easily bendable, and you're going to papier-mâché, or at least I did, papier-mâché over it, so it doesn't necessarily need the rigidity, and it would bend nicer and have less cracks. Once the papier-mâché was about 3 layers in and dry, I just painted it with the same pearlescent paints, and then I was thinking of adding some of the leftover fabric from making the raincoat into kind of like the hoof part of the shoe, but it just looked better as was, so I left it. I'm not completely unhappy with how she turned out, but she's probably my least favourite, and I think I'm going to use her and repaint her in about a year to show how I've developed, and because I love the modifications, the unicorn features, and I think that she deserves to fulfill her potential. So, thank you guys for watching, thank you, come again.